Hey, and we are here with Ask Christian Anarchist, number 41. I am your host, the Christian Anarchist. All right, sorry to keep some of y'all lovelies waiting, but we had a little bit of some problems. Apparently, as you can see, there is no one in the chat right now. Let's see. So we are kind of just starting off key or something like that. I don't know. I guess that's what the word is. And we will be relying on you, wonderful and beautiful and pretty people in the audience, to keep us entertained and to provide your questions, of course. So for the noobs that are watching in, sorry I had to get some spray. All right. Plus I'm getting ready for my medicine later. What was I going to say? Yeah, so those who are new, if you don't know how this works, here's how you work. So Ask Christian Anarchist is a show. You can come in and you can ask any kind of question you got in the live chat or in here or on Twitter or on Discord. So here's how it goes. So first thing, you got a question in the live chat, just type it in the live chat. Interact through there. If you have a question and you want to personally come in and engage on the thing, go to Google Hangouts, ask me for the link, and I will get you the link to join this madness. Yeah, because it tends to get a little crazy. But no, in all seriousness, where am I? I lost for a second. Okay. Then you have Twitter. You want to ask a question via Twitter, mention me and tag me with @Christo_anarcho, and I will add you. Or I could add you through there if you ask for the link from Twitter. I already got one person. Hopefully should get in here, and he'll be on to discuss stuff. But you can ask, you could put my underdash, ask me a question, and then hashtag AskCA, and I'll be sure to get to it. And then, of course, if you look in the description link, there's a Discord link. Click that, and you get to join the official Discord for Ask Christian Anarchist, and you get to ask your questions via the Discord group. I'll be occasionally checking up on there to see how everything is running and doing. But yes, that is all you need to know for the questions. So hopefully we could keep you guys going. We got like 6 people starting up, and we don't even have anybody in here. So hopefully this can turn well, and we improvise until we get other people, because apparently some people are still at work that are wanting to come in. But if y'all want to come in, just message me on Hangouts or on Twitter on the private message section, and I'll get you the link. Gotta make sure I do a background check of you first. That's why I always ask. That's why I make it that you have to ask. Because sometimes if I've tried posting the link in the public, and trolls come in and they do a lot of weird stuff. So it's very nasty kind of things. Okay, so one person did want to ask a question, but he was, like I said, he's at work. And he's a Ahmadiyyan Muslim. He asks, do you know any good Hebrew and Koine Greek lexicons, such as the ones you use to research the Bible? This question comes from Damon Stengel. So Damon, there are a few good lexicons. And I see Garth is like, I'm here. Stop calling me nobody. Wait, are you in the? No, yeah. Well, I'm talking about like in the chat that's in where we're at, not the live chat. I recognize all of you people out there that are in the live chat. Y'all are, like I said, y'all are the pretty ones that I was talking about. But yeah, going back to the question, Damon. There are a few lexicons. For those who don't know what a lexicon is, it's basically like a biblical dictionary for the Greek and the Hebrew, which is the language which the Bible is written in. There are 2 lexicons I would recommend. The first being the Brown Driver Briggs. It's the most updated that's there. Very good. The only thing that can be difficult is, but this goes with any Hebrew lexicon for that matter, is when you see things like the pal and the file and all these other kinds of Hebrew things, it really makes it difficult to understand then what was supposed to be. So you really have to have like a basic knowledge of Hebrew, but I try to use it to the best I can understand it, for the most part. And I also go to other translations of the Bible to help me in understanding the text. But the easiest one is Thayer's Greek lexicon. That will help you out, especially when examining the New Testament, because unlike the other, it doesn't make it into a boiled, complicated system. If the longest I've seen is a word that's been used for like 8 definitions, and that's about it. Other than that, like, it's easy to pick out. It even gives you the examples of where that scholars agree in context it is in usage for. So just keep in mind that. And yeah, so thank you, Damon, for your question. And I see we have Mr. Joseph Carr, who's got a interesting avatar. And I say interesting also because I ended up making it for him.
Yep.
Well,
proud, huh?
Yeah. I didn't draw it, though, just to be clear, just so no one goes suing me. I just used the Red Maru games for editing the gig and whatnot.
Christian Anarchist confirmed to be a hack.
Confirmed hack?
Yep.
Well, I should have seen it coming. All right. So, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing okay.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm alive.
You're alive. Good. Oh, did I tell you before we continue, did I tell you that I ended up getting a chance to talk to Vic Mignogna?
Oh, no, you did not.
Yeah, it was his birthday a while back, and he decided to spend it on Discord.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he got to chat, text chat, by the way, to a bunch of people. So
that's cool.
Very good guy. And I don't know if anybody from this particular group is watching, but there was the Discord chat that I was a part of, the Resemble Rangers. That's where it kind of took place at. Very nice guys, very cool, chill people. Definitely like the company there. Whenever I occasionally go and see the chat that's going on, they're very nice people. So definitely be welcome there if you're ever looking for a good group of people to talk about, especially since they're like the Vic Mignogna fan club and such. So nice folks. Do you have a question, or do you want me to check the live feed real quick? You there? Hello?
Sorry about that. Connection issues.
Oh, man,
I didn't hear
good.
a word you said.
I was just asking if you had a question, or do you want us to just go to the live chat and check things out?
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna have to roast you live channel. Why is it that I'm over here, I got several posters up in my room, I'm putting 3 blankets over my entire desk, I'm crouching down with my Yeti, and I'm turning the settings all the way it's supposed to be and editing it so that my auditions sound good. You just pull out your phone and scream into it. Explain this. Explain this, sir.
I pull out my phone and I scream into it?
Yep.
Which one? Which role or audition are you specifically addressing?
I'm referring pretty much to all of them.
To all of it?
Yeah.
You see, what I do is I just do myself, I just be me. So when it comes to voice acting, I just be chill.
Yeah, but that doesn't get you roles. Sorry.
Well, then good thing that's why I act crazy. Especially since, because you have one of those guys. I forget what the voice actor's name, but he's really starting to just go crazy with his auditioning roles. I mean, I forgot his name. Grimjack, that's his name. Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Hopefully, the other serious question comes up because I got someone who's really desperate in the live chat right now, wanting me to read their comment.
Please, senpai, no.
Oh, is that what this guy sounds like? How do you even know?
I don't know. I'm projecting.
You're projecting.
Yep.
Well, ladies and gents, we have a projector. Okay, so Aries.
But you're assuming your gender, by the way. So
Good point. Good point. I did assume Aries' gender.
There you go.
Aries 106. What kind of evidence or argument, if showed true, would you need to become an atheist? What? What kind of evidence or argument, if shown true, would you need to become an atheist? I'm trying to figure because I mean, isn't it pretty much just like the atheist is trying to like find there to be, no evidence or there's no evidence, or sound argument for the existence of a god. I mean, I think the thing is like just what showing that that there is no such thing as a god. Basically, that would probably be the only thing. Is that if you can disprove the existence of a god, and to my own convictions at least, and to my own, right. So I mean, I don't think there's really an argument I think I can think of at the moment. That's why it would have to be something new, something I haven't thought about before. So, and I don't think that's gonna come. I don't think that's gonna come around for a few years, really.
D's Nuts 42069 asks,
where is the world is he asking this? Because I don't see it.
I was just trying to bait you and it worked.
Oh my goodness! If you want to add that sucker in, then you might as well. Go ahead if you want to.
Let's see what I can
do. Okay, let me try to check something. All right. We really need to start getting more people in here. Unfortunately, I got a bit of people who are in other hangouts there because I know Great Debate Community's got one going on, and I know a bunch of people in the off chat is doing their own thing.
Look, people can quote me. Great Debate's full of hacks. I said it.
It's full of hacks.
Yeah, worst one
hack.
Being general. I know I'm a hack. I fully admit to being one, at least. I'm an absolute tool.
There you go. Let's see. Okay. Let me check something real quick. All right. So that was Aries, which, by the way, he said you did a perfect explanation.
Of what?
Or not explanation, impersonation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, about to say. I'm drinking Sprite, and already I'm having attacks.
I'm drinking, and I'm telling you, I piss. I don't know if I could say that word on your Christian stream.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's see here. Oh yeah, and Aries asks, if God is real, how do you explain anime? I don't think you can without him. Seriously, how do you come up with such creative beauty? It's amazing.
Anime is postmodernist garbage.
Yep. And Mountain Dew is the best soda ever.
Mountain Dew is the devil's juice.
Anyways. Okay. Sorry, folks, for disappointing you if there's not much action. And normally we have like a bunch of people in here asking questions.
Man, I hope your neighbors called the police on you.
Oh, yeah? Is that what I get, huh?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Officer, I was just doing an A. My God, he's worse than we thought. Anyways,
I think you're breaking up a little bit, or is it me? Am I breaking up a little?
I'm sure both of us are.
Yeah, I'm checking my thing. Yeah, it's doing the same thing on the live stream. So I think you're having a little connection thing, as you stated earlier.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Until I get to cleaning, just gonna let that bother. What? It's not
I'm
like
just
it.
laughing how loud that was.
Well, not my fault. My floor is wood.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Okay.
Here's 2048. I don't know.
All right. Trying to think here. Okay. Oh yeah. Cream puffs. Okay. Do you have a question, by the way, just so we could get something going in here? That way, we're not just.
Oh yeah. What's your favorite slice of life?
What was my favorite? What?
Of life anime.
Oh my goodness. Just keep in mind that no one has yet to ask me any theological questions, and so far we're doing a pretty good start.
Okay. Do you affirm Jesus Christ is indeed Jesus Christ?
I heard Jesus Christ twice. What was the question?
I said, do you affirm that Jesus Christ is indeed Jesus the Christ?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay, we're gonna have to do this because apparently we haven't gotten up much people, except Metal Minister who just joined. Everybody, yeah!
Wow!
Okay, wow.
Who is that?
That was a little over the top.
You think? By the way, just letting you know, Metal, we have the echo again, so just keep
Echo.
in mind that. Joseph.
Who let you two into the sugar?
My mommy.
I'm not saying this to agree with him, but he's kind of right. My stepmom actually got me a Sprite before I got on here. She stopped by before I decided to come on here. And if only these guys would actually work on it. Okay, so apparently there's this thing. I mentioned Great Debate Community. Essentially, it's got these people named Steve McRae and all that stuff. Very interesting people.
More like Steve McGay.
That was just in poor taste. So that was just G-man poor taste.
No, the joke has been made several times before by Steve himself.
That's not even worthy of a rim shot.
There you go.
Wow.
But yes, like so they're working on people that are involved in the community and making little parody wiki pages about them. Apparently, they're working on mine, but there's really no info on it. But so far, someone wants me to read Joseph Carr's wiki page.
Yes.
Okay, so just keep in mind, I don't know what's on here. So if there's TVMA or something like that stuff on here, you have been warned, because we sometimes like to be raw when engaging with atheists and skeptics and such, because I can't control them or their profanity filter. So let's just see what we got here. So Joseph, you as a Christian have been shared on here. So let's see what we got. Joseph Carr is a god-tier weeaboo and personal arch nemesis of Kaltzer, if I'm even saying the name right.
Okay.
He's best known for his extreme sarcasm and majorly autistic heckling that can only be stopped if you throw him a waifu pillow for him to chew and urinate on, or you play the Soul Eater anime theme song in a Google Hangout with him. And apparently your gender's weeaboo, so we're adding to the list of already politically correct genders in this postmodern society.
This is brilliant. And Metal Minister left.
Ah.
Okay, guys.
Maybe
guys, we're gonna take a look at the Holy Box TM.
What?
We're gonna take a look at Holy Bible TM.
Holy Bible tea. What the? Oh my goodness.
The
I'm trying to figure things out.
The Weeaboo's Bible.
Oh, the Weeaboo Bible. I wouldn't go as that far as say Weeaboo Bible. I got a Weeaboo Bible, but it's in five volumes. It's called the manga Bible.
Oh, let's not talk about that.
What? I liked it.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God, you really are a hack. I liked it when I was a kid.
Not my fault.
There is, I don't know. There's actually a whole series, and there's one where Jesus is like going through the ascension. It's literally like sketch for sketch, like a ripoff of Goku turning Super Saiyan. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, it was actually that's what I had to realize is that you had to see that they were just getting it to entertain some of these people, but at the same time, gotta give them credit because I mean some of these people are definitely going to be lost.
Gotta get them for tracing.
All right.
Oh man.
All right. So okay, Metal had a phone call, so that's why he left. So he'll come back. We didn't drive him off, or we didn't kick him. But yeah. So okay. So Kaltzer said, "I myself am an atheist, but I have no question to ask. I'm only here for the anime weeaboo stuff." Well, we may not stay on that. I mean, if you want to check out more anime weeaboo stuff, check out my anime parables series on YouTube. We're going to actually pick that up with Rurouni Kenshin pretty soon.
Oh, I'd be happy to work on that if you want, because I have some of the series.
There you go. All right, I'll see if I can find some.
All right, here's a pretty theological / social, social activist question. Is Krona a boy or girl?
Oh, you're talking about Krona from what?
Krona from
Soul Eater?
Yes.
Dude.
I should make it a gag to ask this question every time you do one of these.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do.
Hello, Midnight.
Wait, what the? Oh, hang on. Let me get my screen going. I'm trying to check. I have to balance everything from Twitter to Discord to everything.
Hello. Joseph. Hello.
Yes, that's me.
Yes. Just don't pay no much attention to the weeaboo in the pink hair.
Everyone except for Midnight has an anime profile picture.
Exactly.
Okay.
But you're the one with the pink hair.
Yeah. So, are you a male feminist? Is that what your character is?
Wow, triggered.
We went there. But
yeah,
no, seriously,
also,
if for some of those watching, seriously, if you got theological questions, seriously, bring those on because I'm itching for
I got
those.
one.
All right, let's get. Yeah, I almost forgot. Christian Man came in the room. What's up, Christian Man?
Can I ask? I'm gonna do an impersonation. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
another
You may
weeaboo?
try.
I mean,
No, you
What's
may
the-
not
what's the
ask
next
me a
question?
anime characters. here.
Oh boy.
Hold on.
No, you may not ask me a question. I don't speak Walmart.
What? Okay.
I don't speak Walmart. What?
So what's your question?
Well, what's your thoughts when anti-Trinitarians try to use? We'll see. Well, Moses and David were called sons of God, and in Genesis 7:1.
Mhm.
7:1, it says, "So the Lord said to Moses, see, I made you as God to Pharaoh, and Aaron and your brother shall be prophet." So see, Jesus, that statement of Jesus being this God is irrelevant. He could have just been a normal man, according to anti-Trinitarians. What is your thoughts on this?
Well, the thing is, to be honest, I haven't studied the part about the Moses part in Genesis where it says that he was make him as a god unto him. The only thing that I can speculate at the moment is that the key word being appear as a god. sort of give like this kind of like fear or something to the Pharaoh, and such, with especially in light of the judgments that would come upon through these plagues. That's the only thing I think, but I could be wrong on that. I need to go into more study on that. But as far as the sons of God argument goes, I mean, I remember like Ahmadidat, Muslim apologist, actually used this kind of argumentation, and his famous catchphrase that he used, because he was like a Islamic Ken Ham, basically. He was just known for his wordplay and such.
Sons
Like
by
he,
the tons. Sons by the tons.
yes, the famous phrase, "God has sons by the tons" in the Bible, kind of thing. To me, the distinction is between a particular type of thing, because these different sons of gods and such that I mentioned are simply entitled to a relationship and such. But I think the key thing that's being mentioned is that when a specific way that it's phrased and worded in relation to the Son of God, especially within the New Testament, it puts it in a messianic kind of context in a way that no other person wishes or chooses to be identified as such. And that's what I kind of find interesting, is that in one way, yes, these people back then were called sons of God, but then it's in a certain context of a relationship. They didn't brag about, "Oh, I'm a son of God, I'm a son of God." However, Jesus, on the other hand, kind of did that. He explained and espoused and carried proudly the name of Son of God and such. So
Sorry.
No, I was just saying that this is something I'm definitely gonna have to look more into, because I got so much stuff to definitely been looking into during my studies, and I remember coming across that, and I just I guess faded away from that. But due to the question, I'm gonna have to look into, and I'll definitely be able to get back with you on that. But so far, that is the speculations I have based on simply reading that on the context that you've mentioned so far. That considering what the whole of the Bible, at least that I have read so far, has indicated.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem, Mike.
Oh,
CA. Oh, go ahead.
CA. I'm also going to do this on the 50th anniversary. I'm planning on having my youth group to come in here.
Your what?
My youth group. The people that I know from youth group, and try to get them in here.
Dude. We can just do. Why don't we just do an Ask Christian Anarchist, and it's just your youth group asking me the questions? That'd be something.
Yeah, that's what I'm planning. Oh,
how many people are in your youth group? Are they all gonna come in here? So wow, okay, that there's only like 10 spaces in here, and one of them is the host.
No. He means like they share. I guess share his mic or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna try doing that.
Oh well, okay, you're gonna have to do that, otherwise we're gonna be crowded in here.
Well, one has to come in here from her account, and another one might come from her account as well with her sister.
Well, as long as they can, they be fine. Just as long as we don't crowd too much of it. Either way, we still got the lively people in the live chat. Which, by the way, they ask a question, and then we'll get to Mr. Midnight. What's this?
I'm just here for the show.
There you go. Get some popcorn. Called Sir asks, what is the position of the Earth in a universe of virtually unlimited exoplanets if humans are special? Okay, so y'all know I'm layman dumb when it comes to science. Me like cavemen when it comes to some of this stuff. I don't know what an exoplanet is, or
speak English.
An exoplanet is a planet outside the solar system.
Okay. All right. So, and it says unlimited exoplanets.
Yeah.
So, Earth in a universe.
Hold on. I think unlimited. Like, okay, there are a lot of exoplanets. Whether they're unlimited or not, to us, they may as well be, given the amount of galaxies and planets and stars that exist in the observable universe. Never mind the unobservable universe. Jesus Christ, the universe is huge.
Oh, indeed, it is huge, very huge. So, what is the position of the Earth in the universe and such if humans are special? Well, the humans are special in regards to specifically, what we see in the Bible and such, and it's special creatures on Earth. Um, the role or the position of these other planets and such, like what they play. I mean, they have their own thing, and God can operate with them however He wants. But like specifically with Earth in this vast universe full of these different planets, we're just specifically one group of people that God chooses to interact with, and have a relationship under a covenant with, and that's just one of the operations. Like I said, I don't think that I've said this before. I don't think that we as human beings are the only creatures that are alive in the entirety of the universe. I think, if aliens exist and such, which I'm hoping we can discover some of them, the extraterrestrials later in space. If we find those, I mean, it's not going to contradict any of the ideas I've had. I mean, I think it's also just God has he's able to have different ways of communicating through different people and having different ways of going about interacting with his creation and bringing about reconciliation or however he wants to handle it. So yeah, I mean, as far as the planets, I mean, I think the position of the Earth in a universe of this is that it's a planet that God has created, and humans are special beings on that planet in particular. So I mean, that's about as close as I can get on an answer of the.
So what you're saying is, we're special relative to ourselves, and the universe doesn't care. Like I know, I'm phrasing it badly, but you're saying that we're just special locally.
Right, like it's mostly like just the planet that we're definitely special in regards. Like on this planet, we're definitely special, and it's to God. But doesn't mean that if there was, say, the Klakavusha race in planet Kikla or Klebob, then God may have a plan for them and a way of going about having a relationship with these specific people if they are able to worship Him.
And that was going to be my next question. What if we do meet aliens, they interact with us, but then they're like, oh no, we gave up religion. We gave up religion years ago, or centuries ago.
Mm-hmm.
What then? Are you going to say? Well, then you're going to. Like what are you going to tell them they're going to hell because they dropped religion centuries ago?
No, because I can't. Because here's the thing too, is that the crucifixion applies only to humans and such. So the original sin aspect, that's not applying to these alien creatures because alien creatures were not affected by the fall. So there's the idea of then where does this nature come from, and how did God play everything? Now, if I'd study their stuff and maybe there's some kind of loophole that that shows they didn't actually fit within their stories and their origins and such, that seems consistent with the Bible says, then probably. But I mean, again, this is one of those situations that when that we can only speculate on, because there are multiple kinds of theories that you could just come up with and endless possibilities based upon especially the vast amounts of planets that are out there.
CA is basically banking on a Babylon 5 universe.
What?
Babylon 5?
That's all I heard.
On a Babylon 5 universe. Yeah, I was saying CA is banking on a Babylon 5 universe, I think.
Well,
we're all like all the alien creatures have their own versions.
Well,
yeah,
hold on. You don't you don't even have to go with Babylon 5. You can go with Star Trek. Hell, even Star Wars, I suppose.
I'll never go with those because those all have it being human dominant, and it's like no, that's too human centric. I mean, if that's why my favorite science fiction show ever is Farscape. There's one human on the opposite side of the galaxy, so no.
Wait, hold on.
I don't like human-centric ones.
Have you even God damn it. Have you even watched Star Trek?
Yep. Actually, I do enjoy them. I just prefer Farscape. In Star Trek, the humans, I mean, you have the Federation, but it's all the humans, and then usually get like a sprinkling of different aliens on the show, but it centers around the humans mostly. Star Wars, it's relatively the same thing. It's basically a giant war amongst humans that draw some aliens into it too.
Yeah, but I was talking about the religious aspect.
Yeah, in those, it varies between the genres. I mean, in the original Star Trek, they did not deny Christianity. As a matter of fact, there was an entire episode that it was actually devoted to the idea of another planet, another race of people that actually worshiped Jesus. Spock didn't understand it at first because he says, I've never known sun worshippers to be so adamant and hold to their beliefs amidst such, how did he put it, persecution. And then Kirk turns to him and he says, because they're not worshiping, the sun in the sky, they're worshiping the sun. And it's a backhanded, way of talking about Christianity.
Dude, he literally said sun, the star, not where.
Because he misunderstood when they were talking about the sun, they were talking about the Son of God. He assumed they were talking about the sun in the sky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least we won't be like Warhammer 40K.
Can't speak to that.
It's near freaking ridiculous, but I love it.
What's so ridiculous about Warhammer 40K?
Well, I mean, you have an entire empire that worships an entire like it's going like the entire Warhammer 40K universe revolves around the humans, going back to a Roman Empire type system.
All right, so
like they have.
Ow!
Yeah,
Damn.
ow.
That hurts. All right.
What the heck was that?
That was Christian man dropping his bowl of cereal. All right. But no, seriously, we're good. Yes, really. I don't know what's going on with my screen here, but apparently it says Joseph's in the room, but at the same time it's saying his not in the live stream. So I don't know if he's still here. If he wants to speak up, he can. Unless y'all even see him. Do y'all see him?
Yes, we all see him.
We all see Joseph, that wonderful human being.
And that's strange because
Joseph, who's got the moon scepter.
Because on the live stream at a certain point, it says he left. Like right now, it's saying it's just 5 people in here.
I can click on his name.
I don't know.
I see a Goku.
In general.
Well, and everybody loves a Goku, but let's see here. We got someone wants to try to join, and he has been trying to get in, but he's not been able to stick around for too long during these things due to school work. So hopefully he's going to be able to make it in, and as soon as he gets in, he'll be able to ask his question. And as soon as he leaves, I was going to ask him a question.
Sorry, I was going to say, speaking of not being able to stick around very long, I do have to take off work calls. Y'all have a good night.
Night. I forgot to ask him which season that episode was in, so I can watch it.
I'll ask him for you.
Yeah, because I don't know. I honestly think he's taking the, like, I have to watch that episode now and see, because maybe he's taking it he's taking it to mean something when it's something else. I don't know. Call it my bias.
Huh? Bubble might be not. Never know. Let's see. Wait, did you ask your question? Was it about the alien? Was that about your question about the aliens earlier? Or was that just?
Yeah. No, it was a question like, because I asked what would we do if we met aliens, but they say they gave up religion centuries ago, and then I asked, would they, would you say, well, then they're going to hell if they don't believe? But then you said the fall only applies to humans for some odd reason.
Well, I mean, human beings. The human being was the one that ate of the forbidden fruit.
I know, but say we do meet aliens who don't really look like us, but then then doesn't that call into question the Bible story that says, oh, God created man in His own image, so He created man in His own image, but the aliens He created differently? Does that mean that man is special and the aliens?
The Bible is a specific text that's written to a specific people, and specifically human beings, because we're the one that's able to understand it within a human language. So when it's using it, it's relaying it definitely to specifically us. Not to say that all of a sudden these are the only things that are going to have any capacity or ability to be made in the image of God. I'm pretty sure maybe they're in regards to, say, like relation with other species of aliens or something like that later on. Maybe, these other life forms can be made in the image of God, but we don't know because they weren't relevant to be talked about during the text of the Bible, and maybe they may have their text in which God is using it as a means to relay and communicate with them, to relay that to them, because that's important for them to understand, if that's the case. But again,
as I said, they said they gave up religion centuries ago. Hey, Doc. Hey, buddy.
That's John Wilkinson, my favorite friend and man's best friend.
Yep.
Nice dog there. What's his name?
Billy.
Bailey.
And now, I don't want to talk anymore. I just want to look at the dog. Topic over. No, but seriously, I don't know. To me, it just seems like if we do meet aliens, it's just gonna further put into question the whole creation story and the whole God thing. That's for me though, but.
All right. Hopefully that was able to be answered to the best of your satisfaction, DSR. And we got some people that have joined from Twitter. I can't say Twitter correctly. I just can't. We have Sister Hepster. You just heard her. Then we have John Wilkinson, of course, from the Council of Google Plus. Awesome guy, has a dog. And then we have Jesus Overall.
Yep.
Jesus, are you there?
Hello.
Hello. I knew someone was going to start laughing as soon as I said that.
No. I honestly think he has his name over. He made. Never mind. You got the joke. I'm trying to say that that he put his name like that so people would have to ask that question.
Well, I'll just say Jesus Over next time. So Jesus Over, thank you for joining the show. I know you wanted to get on the show for some time, and I don't know how much time you got to be on here. So figure
well, you'll enjoy. I'm gonna go. All right. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Midnight. Take care.
Yep,
bye. So Jesus Over, welcome to the show. Any particular question you got in mind, my friend?
Not right now. And you could just call me J.O. Make it shorter.
All right, J.O. Gotcha.
I was going to call you Jesus. Jesus.
No. If you say that, then he's going to get deported due to Trump's legislation.
Oh, yes, true.
But no, in all seriousness, John, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you loud and clear, my friend. Y'all getting ready for this Sunday?
Yeah. I was just gonna touch base with you about that, seeing if what are your did you see that one PDF I gave you though a while back, a few days ago, and kind of a nice little argument on both sides, and about 2 Corinthians 4:4.
Send me a PDF.
Yeah, I thought it was on. It was through the Hangouts chat that you and I had.
Oh yeah. The one by Hartley himself.
Correct.
Yeah, I've got a chance to read it. It was a very good article.
Yeah, I thought it was fairly balanced, and it was good. So yeah, we're expecting to have G-Man on our show, either our show or either at Slick Answers. I think it'd be best to have it on Slick Answers. That way he can have Matt Slick on and get his take on it. But we did talk about it last week concerning that verse, and so Matt was like, you know, it could be either or. He can see both sides of it, but he does believe that it is referring to, you know, Satan himself. But we'll see. I mean, we'll also get General Han Solo on, and I think he sees it another way. But we'll see.
Yeah, he thinks it's referring to the devil compared to me. That's definitely where you would have thought that, you know, with this crazy and interesting general has gone over to some of the things, you would have thought he would have said that 2 Corinthians 4:4 was referring to the devil.
Right.
But yeah, it should be interesting. I'm definitely tuning in for that, because I know that, you know, G-Man's been hounding after me and has been going after, like, saying, you know, let's bring it before a bunch of Christians, see what they think. And
right. I was gonna say, do you guys communicate anymore beyond his little YouTube show that he had?
I kind of like sent him messages because I'm still currently doing a study in Isaiah, and I found some verses and such that seem to indicate more of the language that's mentioned in Isaiah 6:9, and then of course what is it? 2 Corinthians 4:4. But yeah, I haven't heard anything back from him.
Okay.
I'd be surprised if he's even watching right now.
Yeah, it was interesting how I came onto his show afterwards, not long after you left, and yeah, I kind of blew my top a little bit at first, but
yeah, I noticed about that. You were like, "Well, come on, bring it on. You think I'm scared of you?"
Yeah.
It was like David Wood handling Muslims.
Yeah. So, I mean, but you know, we calmed down after that and just kind of talked about various things. But it was interesting discussion. I mean, yeah, he's a good guy and all, but sometimes he can be a little unhinged at some of his approach.
Oh yeah,
but
definitely.
We'll see.
Hopefully things go well.
We'll see what happens on the show.
Yeah. So while I got you on here, my home skillet from the council, got any question?
Any questions? I don't think I do. Dog is. Let's see. What was I thinking?
He's like trying to help you figure out. He's like, "Oh, let me read that Bible."
It smells of food. It's the bread of life.
The bread of life, exactly. No, I don't have anything. So if anybody else has anything else to ask.
All right.
Can't think of anything at the top of my head.
All right, sure thing, man. Yeah. So, So up next then is Sister Hipster. Sister.
Yes.
I don't know why I got that TV show Sister stuck in my head now.
Sister,
sister. Anyways,
No. Sister Hipster would be like for that one Sister Christian from.
Oh yeah, I
what
totally
band was that?
forgot we did that one time.
What is that band called?
I think it is Night Ranger or something.
Oh, there you go. Yes, it was. It was Night Ranger.
Yeah.
So Sister Hipster, hit Google Night Ranger Sister Christian, and you would see what that is, and you would also see 1980s big hair.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. I'm digging that.
Yeah, because I remember when Sister Hipster, like, it was like her second or third time on a live chat or something, and was watching. We kind of made a joke about, someone made the same thing that you made the reference to.
I remember that.
And I was like, Sister Hipster, oh, the time has come. And you know you're not the only. Or that you're the. Yeah, there. I kind of butchered it.
That's okay. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
They don't even play the song anymore. They don't even get royalty for it.
Well, if I was only allowed to, I would be able to play that. But unfortunately, we don't have music streaming privileges on YouTube due to its extremely sensitive copyright laws.
Or to be a whole other story.
There you go. But sister, seriously, it's good to see you. How you holding up?
I'm doing all right. I was feeling a little down for a couple of days and was getting over cold, but I'm feeling better.
Good thing to hear from you, sis.
Mm-hmm.
What you got? Any questions for Anarchist?
I got two questions, but I'm gonna wait for the second one. First Corinthians, I think 11:10.
All right, let me get my software open.
Basically, it's talking about how head coverings, and one of those things that really stumps me is people having the head coverings or the hair having to do with angels. What does that mean? I mean, like, am I taking that context? Is the
okay?
Like,
so First
angels
Corinthians
have magic
11:10.
powers over hair?
So first of all, we have to go to the context because the whole thing about there's a good bit of the chapter in which it's dedicated specifically to the head coverings.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just present my screen so that way the text is more seeable. So right here it says, "For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. If it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is made in the image and glory of God, but the woman is the glory of the man. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. For this cause the woman," so the cause right here, "for this cause that the woman is for the man, the cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angels." And it seems that the issue we have here, at least going from John Gill here in his commentary, the generality of interpreters by power understand the veil or the covering the woman's head as a sign of the man's power over her and her subjection to him, which Dr. Hammond endeavors to confirm by observing that the Hebrew word which signifies a woman's veil or hood comes from a root which signifies power and dominion. But in that he is mistaken, for the word is derived not from this to rule, govern, exercise power and authority, but from this particular same three-letter one, Hebrew word that I'm not familiar with, which means to expand, stretch out, or draw over, as a woman's veil is drawn over her head and face. The Greek word more properly signifies the power she had of putting on and off her covering as she pleased, according as time, places, and persons made it necessary. So far it seems to indicate like it has somewhat of a
To me, from what I was trying to slightly research, I kind of skimmed over some things. It's just like men and women are different, and it has to do with some sort of order.
Mm-hmm. Right, that was what one of the views was that Gill mentions, is that it kind of represents the male being, above the women in regards to, say, like the hierarchies and such. But Gil, of course, disagreed with him about that and said it was more in reference to like some sort of stretching kind of thing, just simply a covering. One of the things, though, that's interesting that I found out from a friend of mine, General Han Solo, about the whole context of this, especially in light of what the ancient Israelites understood about the issue about the head coverings and such, is they pretty much viewed it the same way with why should men have to wear underwear and pants out in public? Why should women have to wear a bra, panties, and clothes in general out in public? It's that kind of thing, and here's the reason why I say it like that, is because basically they viewed women's head back then, the actual head, as a human testicle. That's what.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, like that's literally
You gotta be kidding.
that's what they thought of it as, and that's kind of where the whole head covering thing comes. It's like why it used the language of it's shameful if a woman, were to show that out, because it'd be the same way shameful likewise if a man just lets his junk get displayed. I mean, you definitely see that language in regards to the temple stuff. You can't go into a temple where in areas where your junk is exposed and let it be defiling the temple and such. So they kind of get the same kind of context there. At least that's just my understanding of the interpretation there.
Okay.
But the main thing is when you have the covering, at least based on this verse, it seems to have sort of symbolizing connection to somewhat of a subjection thing as well, because one of the things that the Corinthian church did have to deal with, I believe, as well, was these pagan women that were kind of like the proto-feminists of the days that were pretty much trying to promote all kinds of crazy things. And that's why you see most of the language Paul is having to say this kind of egalitarian sense, saying, the man created for the woman, but the woman for man. And then as soon as he says, the woman must rely on man. Likewise, he says that, for as the woman is of man, even so man also by the woman, but all things of God. So he kind of also tries to connect that, there still has to be dependence on both ends. Just like the woman depends on the man, man at the same time must also depend on the woman. But then he goes on about the hair. Judging yourselves, it is comely that a woman pray unto God covered or uncovered. Doth not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him? But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given her for a covering. So it even says right there that the hair that they have was kind of like a natural head covering. That's why it was promoted. Don't shave your head. Okay.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is just another thing I'm having. So did they have issues kind of like, from what I've heard and what I've read, I'm not sure if the information's correct, but some of them actually did like a Nazarite vow, and some of them did shave their heads. And
yeah, Paul was on his way to do this when there was some battle between him and a few very legalistic type of Jewish Christians.
Mm-hmm.
But that was only the context of which they were able to do it, is if they were going to do the Nazarite vow.
Okay. So if a woman was going to do like a Nazarite vow, they could do that. But they would have to have a covering over their head if they did.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Well, the men or?
The women.
I mean, I don't think the women, at least there's no context that I'm familiar with the women have been able to do this Nazarite vow. I mean, I'd have to look more into it. As far as as I know, only men did this particular Nazarite vow culturally and historically.
Okay.
By the way, like the picture that you got on, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. Do you want to go to because you said you had two questions. You want to go to the second one now, or you want to wait on that one?
If anybody else has questions, I'm willing to wait.
Yeah. J.O., Jesus over. You got one?
Hello.
Hello.
My question is, what would you say the best Bible commentary is?
That's a good question. Depends on what you want, because there's different ways of getting it. Because you have two different methods. You have a one volume commentary, which can be decent depending on which author you get. Likewise, depending on the authorship in the series, you have part by part volumes of the commentaries. And these, when you have a whole commentary in one volume, you're not going to get a lot of information. You're just going to get basically a summary. But if you buy the individualistic commentary, that person's taking a great time of detail to just go over just one chapter. Like, I remember hearing that there was a commentary on First Corinthians or First and Second Corinthians, and it took almost 1,000 pages to write. It was like 900 pages worth of material for a commentary on 2 chapters of the Bible. And that's nowhere in comparison to a one volume commentary that I have in my library. So it depends really what you want. If you want a whole volume commentary, my solution would be to get the John Gill or Matthew Henry commentary. The Matthew Henry whole commentary, not the concise commentary.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the two if you want a one volume. As far as a multiple things go, trying to think, what was that one thing that I read? I'm trying to find out. Let me look this up. Yeah, the New International commentary. At least that's the one that I'd recommend so far. It's very conservative. Bible-believing scholars have worked on this series, Old and New Testament wise. Only thing I'd say is that this is published in 2007. Mostly, just make sure if you do go check out some others, there could be others that are better than that are up to date. Make sure it's an up to date one as well, and that it's from a conservative understanding. Is not trying to just simply point out theories in which you can't even demonstrate or prove. But in regards of one by name, the New International Commentary series is a very good one.
All right. Thank you. I gotta go, but I can join back in like 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, no problem, man.
All right. See ya. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. All right, so thank you for that. So before we go back into our chat here, what the? Apparently I was removed from a Hangout at some point. I don't know why. Anyways, so going back to the live chat real quick until we see something else. So let's see if we got any more questions in the live chat. Someone asked if Rapunzel was an angel or something, because I don't know. I guess it had something to do with head coverings and the long hair and such. Be interesting thoughts. I don't know. I don't know if John is still there because his thing is off. Oh, well, he may come back later. I don't know, or speak up later. Okay, Shadowrun asks, was the Earth created in 6 literal days? It was created, I believe, in 6 literal days, but I define literal, of course, in the sense of its context. So when I say literal days, I mean 6 literal yom. So that's what I would say for it. I know probably John in here would disagree with me, and maybe a couple other guys would disagree with me about, my definition of the word yom or day there, but I think either way, probably 6 24-hour period days, and then who knows how long the time span then lasts. Because I've heard theories where some people believe in millions of years, but they think the 6 creation days were still 24 hours. So I find that rather interesting. See, miserable and woe is different wording. Okay. So far we don't have any other questions in the chat. Oh, do you measure the time was measured from Earth? Oh, as measured from Earth. If so, when did you start the clock? When the sun appears? When do I start the clock? When the sun appears? I guess. Trying to understand this question here. By the way, welcome back, Christian man. Here's the text.
I was just taking a shower.
Good to know.
I smelled nasty.
There
like,
you go.
woo, I gotta take a shower.
Gotta take a shower. He's got to take a shower, folks. So let's see. If so, when these... Okay, I don't know how to answer the question. I mean, if you're referring to a specific... I guess on here, I mean, I'm measuring time just like anyone else is measuring it right now on here. I mean, I'm able to look at a clock right now, kind of. So, okay, let's see here. What would you say to a Seventh-day Adventist who insists that the fourth commandment requires we worship on Sunday or Saturday? Imagine a Seventh-day Adventist probably just cringed right now. It's like, there's an SDA that wants us to worship on Sunday. Trigger.
Sundays, the mark of the beast.
Sunday, the mark of the beast.
I think Paul would say something saying it doesn't matter. I do think in the spirit of Paul, he would probably say it doesn't matter.
He did kind of do something like that. If you read Colossians 2:16, he kind of says, what's it say? Let me go to it. Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of a holy day or the new moon or of the Sabbath days.
Well, there you go. I know how Paul thinks.
There you go. So let's see, where was I? Oh yeah, but yeah. So I mean, the fourth commandment, in regards to the insisting that we must still obey it, must recognize there is plenty of evidence and such that indicates we are not obligated to it. Oh man, yawning. I hate it.
Not to mention, there are also Sabbath days, by the way. So does every Seventh-day Adventist follow those specific ordinances?
Yeah.
I mean, if you disobey one part of the law, you're cursed.
There's actually several verses I've gone to. Like I have my notes right in front of me right now. Acts 20 verse 7 mentions of the disciples gathering bread or breaking bread and gathering together on the first day, which is known as the Lord's Day. This day being Sunday. So they gathered on there. And as Lewis Foster notes in his I think it's Lewis Foster making the note. Either way, it's someone behind the study note. Says break bread. The term here indicates the Lord's Supper, since breaking bread was the express purpose for this formal gathering. Where Acts chapter 2 verse 42 also makes the tradition about the breaking of bread and gathering on the first day, which is Sunday. Not to mention Justin Martyr in his dialogue with Trypho says that the commandment of circumcision, again, biting them always circumcise the children on the 8th day, was a type of the true circumcision by which we are circumcised from deceit and iniquity through him who rose from the dead. He goes on later to say, for the first day after the Sabbath, remaining the first of all the days, is called, however, the 8th, according to the number of all the days of the cycle, and yet remains the first. So they have this kind of tradition about, that the Sabbath, there is a day afterwards, but it's also called the first. Now, Barnabas, who was one of the apostles who traveled with Paul, he writes something in his epistle of Barnabas, which isn't inspired scripture, but he was still, yet nonetheless, a disciple that traveled with someone that traveled with Paul. He wasn't a disciple or apostle. But he says, "Wherefore we Christians keep the 8th day for joy, on which also Jesus arose from the dead, and when he appeared, ascended to heaven." And then Barnabas goes even farther, because remember, he says they keep the 8th day. What's the 8th day? That's Sunday, the first day. Barnabas goes even further to quote Isaiah 1, verses 11 through 14, which the quote includes, "I cannot endure your Sabbaths," which he says, quote, "He has therefore abolished these things, that the new law of our Lord Jesus Christ, which is without the yoke of necessity, might have a human oblation." So the Colossians 2:16, Isaiah, in which Barnabas makes the connection that the things such as the Sabbath law has been abrogated and done away with. So it's just kind of interesting. Plus, not to mention, I mean, if you're going to say that Sunday worship's the mark of the beast and all this kind of stuff, that's going to be imprinted on the right-handed forehead. How are you going to print a holiday on your hand and your forehead?
It's the Christmas tree.
Well, there you go. One more question from the live chat before we go back in here. Tulip Doctrines of Grace asks, "Do you think Leviticus is the most important Old Testament book and Hebrews the most important New Testament book?" No, I think the whole Bible is the most important one, sir.
Amen.
But if I had to personally pick out a favorite, it would probably be Galatians for New Testament. And at the moment, I'd have to say Proverbs for Old Testament, because you get a lot of interesting stuff regardless of what you start at in Proverbs. It's just wonderful stuff. But yes, thank you for your comments there. I'm going to go get some water real quick. Give me something to wake me up. My goodness. So y'all chillax a bit. Just make sure there's no chaos in my own hangout here.
Don't worry.
It's probably not.
So how have you been doing, sister?
I've been doing all right. How about you?
Doing okay.
Cool beans. I'm just drawing at the moment.
Yeah, gotcha.
Popular today.
Hmm?
I'm popular today.
Hey, CA,
Yep.
Brojo wants to join.
I figured as much.
You
Oh
want
my
in?
goodness. Everybody's asking me or commenting something.
CA, you don't mind if African Goddess, Emmanuel, and Brojo come in, right?
Yeah, just make sure you add them separately.
Yeah, I know.
So, like I said, I'm not sharing the link out in public.
Oh no, I understand. Don't share the link out in public. I understand that.
Okay. All right, so we're back. I tried pouring a cup of ice cold water on my face and hair. So we'll see how that wakes me up. Anyways, good to be back. We got 30 minutes left of the show before we head to the off-air after party. So we have here. Oh, okay. We got Master Zemnis. Got a question about evangelism. Let's play Sonic Adventure 1 so we can bring chaos in here. Yes, that was a lame joke.
Wow.
But still, it was pretty good. I wouldn't have been able to come up with that one. All right, so let me just. Oh, come on. There we go. There we got Brojo in. All right. So, what's your question then, Zemnis? Just ask me the question. I'll get to it. Welcome, Brojo.
Hey, man.
Right. All right. So, you got a question you want to ask us, Brojo, or specifically me? This is Ask Christian Anarchist 41.
Actually, I will ask a question. Just give me about 5 seconds, and then I'll.
All right.
Think of the view of justification from eternity, where people say, and a lot of Calvinists hold to this. Well, I don't say a lot of Calvinists, but there are Calvinists who held to it. Paul Helm, and I think he believes that John Calvin held to that belief. That, do you mind if I take time to pull up a quote and tell me your thoughts on it?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead and you can pull up the quote. Well, while he's doing that, sister, do you want to ask your second question while he's pulling the quote up?
Oh yeah. I was overhearing a conversation with somebody. I don't know if it was about what it was about, but I was overhearing about somebody fell into vain philosophies, and I was looking that up, and I just had it up here. Vain philosophy. I don't think it's kind of worded that way in the Bible. I'm thinking it has to do with King James. I know that's probably.
It does use the word vain philosophies.
Yeah, I think it's Colossians 2:8. I think it's worded differently.
Colossians 2:8. Yeah. What about it?
What does it really mean? Like vain philosophies. It just seems like it's like an empty argument. But I also read having something to do with people who have beliefs in an egotistical way.
Okay, so wait, what about it?
Oh, you're talking about the past.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking like the person. These people just didn't know exactly in context what that actually means.
Right. Because again, this is the same passage in which, as we went over, Colossians 2:16 says, Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink, or in respect of holy day, or new moon, or Sabbath days. So the one thing that I think is interesting in what Paul is addressing here is basically just don't let simply the idea of just simple philosophy and the vain deceit after traditions of men be the final authority in regards to you being the Christian and such, especially since it says after the rudiments of the world and not after Christ. Now, it's not saying that all philosophy is therefore bad, because you look in the history of the Christian church, there were Christian philosophers out there such as Justin Martyr. For example, the issue is when does how crazy can your philosophy take you?
Right.
Is it God-centered or not? For as it says in verse 9, for in him dwelleth all the fullness of the Godhead bodily, and ye are complete in him, which is the head of all principality and power. In the book of Proverbs, we're told that the beginning of wisdom starts with God and such. So if we believe in him and have our faith and foundation trusted in Christ, then and have our foundation founded in the word of God, then our philosophy is going to be sound because we have it in light of truth, and especially in light of trying to figure out how to solve some of the problems that we are dealing with personally in life. Like, how do we overcome sin? How do we try to overcome and tackle certain desires? How should I view how should I handle this issue that's going on within my marriage? All these kinds of things. We can deal with them if we have a biblical foundation. So it's simply saying, when it says the men that spoil through philosophy and vain deceit after the tradition of men, that simply is that these man-made traditions that you think alone will suffice, when it's God that suffices, and having a God-centered philosophy, that would be the better option than just simple philosophy.
Now, anarchist, I did pull up the quote, but I will say this: we're going to say, doesn't that passage say, "and not after Christ," which would show that there's a kind of philosophy that does honor Christ?
Let's see.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull it up here.
Hey, hold up. Zulu, did you just share the chat?
Yeah, Onyx wants to join.
No, don't share that in the public thing.
Onyx wants to join.
I don't care. Other people are gonna see that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just add him. I turned off the link, by the way.
It wouldn't let me add him.
Colossians 2:8 says, "Beware lest any man."
Yo, Christian, this is Alex, and just so you know, if I talk over silence, it's because Brojo has me blocked, so when he's talking, I won't be able to hear.
Hold on. Okay, because Brojo, you got a parent.
Brojo, why are you blocking people anyway?
Yeah, apparently there's a thing going on between him and Alex. So Brojo
should keep it out this call.
Hold up. Brojo was in the middle of his question. Let him finish. Hopefully that answers your question, though, sister.
Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you.
No problem. Because we got only 20 minutes before we end the show. So, Brojo, go ahead. Finish up with your...
Sure. Yeah, I put this actually here in the chat.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just well, yeah. All right, so the truth about it, the atonement, well, I guess you'll read it. So, because I may not read it. You may not understand it. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the truth about atonement, about reconciliation to God, has to be represented to us as if implied a change in God, and so an inconsistency and apparent contradiction in his actions towards us. But in fact, there is no change in God. He loves us from eternity. There is, however, a change in us, a change that occurs as by faith Christ's work appropriated. The change is not from wrath to grace, but from our belief that we are under wrath to our belief that we are under grace. Okay, so...
Right, yeah, so essentially what people will try to do is they will try to save God's immutability. And so what they'll say is that you were never actually under a state where you were under wrath. This is just your mindset. And so God never changed. He loved you from all eternity. So what's your view on that? How do you explain God loving someone from all eternity, and the Bible teaching that they were under wrath.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that he still loves them even with them being under wrath. I mean, the issue is about, correlation between a relationship in regards to the father and his role as a father, caring for his people, but at the same time having to be a judge. So, I mean, you could still love someone, but still they'd be under your wrath. I mean, just take a parenting if you want an example, especially in the South. So the issue is not a conflicting thing at all. So, I mean, I can see where people can say, yeah, God loved these people from the beginning. But at the same time, just because they're under wrath doesn't mean that God has any less feelings for them, unless, of course, they're not of the elect, the people that are definitely in absolute rebellion against God. They have absolutely no desire and will never have a desire to come to him in the first place.
Oh, okay. I actually thought that was a really great response. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I was listening to someone and they said that one of the ways you can look at it is that God is first off essentially immutable. So that means God, who he essentially is, doesn't change, right? But God going from a state of love to wrath to grace is not God essentially changing his character. If you look at it as covenantal aspects of God and God taking on different aspects to relate to his creation, and so in relating to his creation, he actually takes on the attribute of wrath, and it's real wrath, while at the same time being able to have love from all eternity, but also having a real state of wrath instead of what people will say is it's just a belief set or a mindset, because that the Bible doesn't teach that. So, I think your response is great, though.
Well, thank you very much. I found something interesting now. Someone just pointed this out. The guy I mentioned, the SDA question-based Guyver, said, "Thanks for answering the question. Also saw that James White featured your meme on the dividing line. Thought that was funny." Yes, for those who didn't
You're
catch
fanboying
the dividing
as well.
line.
Which one?
It was the first one he did when he got back. There was an edition of the dividing line, and he showed that he brought that he got a hat back from England, I think is where he went, and so he showed it off, and I took the opportunity to screenshot and do a little thing. So
well, at least
here I had him with a meme saying, "Y'all don't step on Dr. Oakley's turf in apologetics, y'all. Walter James White. I am the one who presups."
That's
for
hilarious.
Some of those that don't know, it's a little what's it called? Breaking Bad reference right there. Because it's Walter White, but it included the James in there for the middle name. But people he saw it and was like, "See, people are already posting this, making a meme about it." Christian Anarchist made a meme, and as soon as that happened, he put his hat back on for a majority of the show afterwards.
That's hilarious.
Yo, Anarchist, can I ask you a question?
You get positive attention.
My headphones fell out.
Yo, Anarchist, can I ask you a question?
All right, just because this is going to get annoying. Just so y'all know that are watching, because Alex and Brojo are, have each other blocked at this point.
No, I don't have him blocked. He's the only one blocking me.
There's going to be a thing where y'all are going to be communicating possibly or something, because I don't know if y'all can hear each other.
I can't hear him. He can't hear me because he blocked me. It's unintentional. It's not on my part.
Right. So right there, both of you are talking like crazy, and none of the audience probably would have been able to hear y'all.
So can I ask you my question?
Okay. What about now?
What is?
Right, hold on, Brojo. Hold on.
Brojo, why don't you unblock him for the sake of this video?
Yeah, seriously. But so it's just a series of questions, kind of getting at justification from eternity.
Actually,
what would you
I
define
just
imputation
make a
as?
really stupid comment anyway, so I'm going to leave, and then I'll just message you the comment.
Okay, you do that. Okay, so Alex, say that again. Sorry.
What would you define imputation as?
As far as imputation, I would say is a declaration, kind of like when it says the imputation of righteousness, the declaration of righteousness.
Mm-hmm. I think that the the imputation of righteousness is being conflated with the justification, because most of the time when you see justification, it's the actual legal declaration. For example, when Jesus was justified, he was declared just. But I think that, would you agree that imputation is simply to impute someone as righteous is to consider them as righteous, to account them, to reckon them, etc., as righteous?
All right, so wait, say that again.
Some of the synonyms for impute are just to consider, to account, or to reckon. It's something that occurs in a mind. Would you agree?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. So by nature of the fact that imputation is consideration, where do you think it occurs? And the point that I'm getting at is, if imputation is simply God considering us righteous, shouldn't it occur in his mind?
I guess it would, but the issue of the imputation comes when faith occurs, as we see when Abraham believed, it was imputed or accredited unto him righteousness. And then you see the same kinds of thing later on within the language of the New Testament and such.
Yeah, see, the problem with that is, of course, I take a different interpretation of that. I see it as being the righteousness of Christ being imputed onto him. But if imputation is truly simply consideration, and it must occur in God's mind since he's the one that considers us righteous, and God is not a time-limited temporal being, so isn't imputation an eternal act by nature of God's mind?
An eternal act? No, because the imputation in itself occurs at a specific moment, even if him being eternal, at any time kind of God. So, for example, just because things such as hurricanes and the crucifixion were preordained and predestined and such, the event still had to happen for the effect to be to occur. There's always a cause and an effect, and once the cause occurs, then comes the effect from the cause. So while the things are still laid out and planned out and such through all time, there's once it happens, that's when the reality kicks. You have the concept laid out, especially when God has a plan that's not going to fail. All the dominoes are going to fall right into the place as what he wants it as, and then boom.
Yeah. So if your interpretation of imputation through faith in Scripture is correct, wouldn't that mean that God has to become a temporal being and enter the temporal sphere in order to consider us righteous when we believe by necessity of the way that eternality is constructed in God's system?
Well, in one way, he's been able to do this in regards to being the Son, as Jesus, as the Metatron, but he's not been able to do this as the Father, and such, because as the Father, his role is just specifically laying out all these certain events and such. But there is still rules and regulations that are laid out for things such as the declaration of accredited into righteousness, and of course, the thing he states there is that the faith.
Yeah, and
which of course he still even says that in itself in Ephesians. It's not of our own deed that we believe, that is the gift of God, lest people should boast.
Do you agree that time would include a succession of events?
That time would include. This would have to be the last question, because we're.
There's just one more after that.
Because we got 10 minutes before we got to clock off air. There's a lot of people in here that are.
Yeah, sure. So would you agree that time?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's a succession of events. That's one way to look at it.
So does eternity consist of a succession of events?
Does eternity consist of a succession of events? I would say it does, but the succession of events is also likewise eternal, like an infinite amount.
We could talk about this another time. Maybe we could have a debate about eternity, justification from eternity, and stuff.
Okay, I don't see what there's to debate about it necessarily.
Let's do the gospel.
Well, the gospel doesn't necessarily depend upon is known in the eternity kind of aspect, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, so thank you for the question there. So let's see, we had Onyx in here. Who else?
So what were you talking about earlier in reference to SDA Church? I was just looking through the live chat and I saw an SDA.
Yeah, someone asked the question about, what was the let me actually try to go back. to it. Oh yes. What would you say to an SDA who insists the fourth commandment requires we worship on a Saturday? And I gave my response. It's simply that the fourth commandment is not an application to us.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, this is your show. I'm not gonna say anything, but let your viewers know that
that's what I welcome on this.
I'll just tell your viewers that I'm a Seventh Adventist, and that's absolute garbage. But anyway, carry on with your show.
Well, you can say that, but I can also then at the same time say I'm proud that 81 churches have left the denomination of Seventh-day
Yeah, and another 100 and something joined today. So
you got the records?
What's that gonna prove, bro?
You got the records for that?
There's millions of SDAs within the America alone.
Okay.
And they're growing.
All right. I just find it interesting though that just like 81 churches in Ethiopia, kind of left it.
Well, Ethiopia is pretty much becoming Ethiopian Orthodox and Catholic at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather them be SDA than Catholic.
Well, you would then be an SDA, of course.
But you said Ethiopian. What do you mean?
Most of them are becoming Catholic. So you want them to become? You want them to leave? You want them to become Catholic?
The people in the land of Ethiopia, by the way.
So you want them to become Catholic?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I did not know they would have become Catholic, so that's definitely not a good alternative. I'm just saying, wouldn't have been safer either way being an SDA.
Yeah, you sure you want to make that claim?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing, Catholicism, SDA, potato.
I'm not even going to deal with you right now. I'm so tired. Just carry on with your show.
You can
carry on with your show, buddy.
I'm just saying the invitation's open to debate the topic if you ever want to.
Brother, I've tried to get people from Amazing Facts to debate you, and you're too stubborn. So carry on with your show, but carry on with your show, buddy.
They haven't done a debate. We've only had a discussion.
Carry on with your show, buddy.
Okay, just pointing out. Okay, so let's see who else came in. Because I want to do this in order here. Okay, African goddess. No, wait. Okay, stomach. Then African. All right. So, stomach, you got a question?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, then we go straight to African.
What's up? Do you have any statistics on that?
On what?
The Zulu said at the ADA, the Ethiopians and all that. You have statistics on that, like an article, documentation to prove his.
The only documentation I have at the moment is from LAM Publications, which they are the people that published Dale Ratzlaff's book. I forget what the title is called, Cultic Doctrine, and he got an email from a pastor over in Ethiopia, and they talked about how they had left that not only did his church leave Seventh-day Adventism, that a few others likewise had left it. Let me actually try to see if I can find the whole thing. Let me see here. Whatever it's at.
I think she was asking for Zulu's source, actually.
Yeah, I don't think he would find it then. Okay, trying to find it, but apparently it's not coming up on my deal. Let me just go on my phone because I know that's on there. Okay, LAM Publications. Okay, yeah. So this one's from he says this came from SK or something. He says from July 7th, 2017. Dear Brother Dale, greetings from Ethiopia. I have been blessed by the messages and books I got from you personally and from LAM. I then shared all the information I got to fellow SDA members, and thank God we are finally free. Over 81 churches have been SDA members, who have been SDA members, questioned Ellen G. White and left SDA. We grouped ourselves under the name Bria Church and worship freely. We are indeed free. No worries of meeting other Protestant churches. No worries talking to Catholics, and no more say Sabbath is the seal of God. This is all because of you and fellow former Adventists. I was not able to get a copy of the Clear Word Bible. I have obtained the Clear Word version. That was one of the things which convinced me that SDAs are a cult, as you rightly wrote in your book. We really need someone to come and share the messages you people have. Is there a way to get a copy of the Clear Word Bible, the first edition? We are holding them, referring to the Adventists, accountable and making those who are not yet converted to question SDAs. Lots of things are happening, and any supporting documents and books we get are helpful. Thank you very much, and be blessed. SK.
Okay, I would just like to say I've posted the statistics in the chat of people joining the Seventh-day Adventist Church rapidly, and there being the current population of Seventh-day Adventist Church all over the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, by the way,
populum.
I would just like to say, CA, posting an article in the chat saying, you know, people have left to try and prove a point is very pointless at that, because people, as much as people leave, people join.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a kind of a mute. I don't know if you're trying to show off or trying to, you know, stab me in any way, but it really didn't do anything, brother.
Right. I was just simply pointing out that was just, like I agree, the attendee number doesn't qualify if it's true or not.
Because
I've made that
Islam would be
statement.
true.
Yeah, because if that's the case, then the highest number of people in the world is Islam, and therefore that would have been true. But
Exactly.
the issue is that I just simply find it interesting that out of the amount of deconversions within a short amount of time, 81 churches in the land of Ethiopia deconvert for that. That's all I was simply pointing
Well, what
out.
are they converting into? It's clearly that they're converting into Ethiopian Orthodox.
Wait a minute. No. If they read Doug Batchelor's book, they probably went to some other Protestant group.
No, because I read the email. It says that they would not join a Catholic. They said they would identify under Berea Church.
And what the heck is that?
Apparently, from what he tries to describe, it says we are, and they said they worship freely. So kind of like a non-denominational church.
Amen.
So they make it seem so torturous to be a Seventh-day Adventist. It's funny how I don't really see that in if you would ask other Seventh-day Adventists.
Well, when you have the fact, I mean, for example, what's his name? Dale Ratzlaff, the guy who wrote the book and who received the email. He was a former Seventh-day Adventist pastor for about 20 years, and he understood, and that's why he writes the things he does about the whole thing about it being under.
He's probably an agent for the devil.
Okay, if you want to go the route saying that he's an agent for the devil.
So you would rejoice that people are leaving the church. Amazing. That shows your character. That shows your character as well.
They're leaving a false denomination. Like, I would rejoice if people left Roman Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy.
But you can't compare Seventh-day Adventism to Roman Catholicism. It's idiotic.
I can actually because
Seventh-day Adventism is a Protestant church.
The Roman Catholic Church has the Pope. The Seventh-day Adventists have
no, they don't.
They have her.
Ellen G. White is not a god. We don't worship her. We don't.
I didn't say that. Didn't say that. I did not say that.
No, because the Catholics worship the Pope. So you need to retract that statement.
They don't worship the Pope either.
So they bow down to him and kiss his ring. Okay.
No, that's not putting him on the level of worship. The issue about what the Catholics do.
Let's go with the rest of the questions.
The issue about the Catholics.
And apparently they call him the God on earth as well, so they don't worship the Pope. Okay.
Where is he called the God of the earth?
God on earth.
Where?
I'll show you many references when he calls himself the God on earth, representation of Jesus Christ on earth.
Hey, African.
Oh, my bad. Right. Oh, yeah, question. I mean to interrupt, whatever. Do the Ethiopian Orthodox consider themselves Christians in Africa?
Orthodox in Africa, I mean, depends on, I guess, which denomination.
The Ethiopia Orthodox, do they consider themselves Christian? Yes
they
or no?
consider themselves Christian, yes.
Do you have, like,
Wait, CA, what do they believe in, by the way? Because
Do
I
you
don't
have
really know that much about it.
Do you have like documentation for that?
No, you have to be able to. You have to check out their specific sources. I know Ethiopian Orthodox is a specific off branch of Eastern Orthodoxy, but so they'll differ from what like the Byzantine and the Coptic traditions are.
So idol worship and rituals, any of those things resembling Catholicism there present?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, like I said, because there are some Eastern Orthodox that are just weird. Like I remember there's an Eastern Orthodox guy who claimed and identified as such, surreal, but yet from what I've heard, he believes in the issue of justification by faith alone, which big no for Eastern Orthodox. But yet he says, I believe in justification by faith alone. And then Yusuf, apparently another guy who's Eastern Orthodox, believes in justification by faith alone, which, again, contradicts what Eastern Orthodoxy as a whole teaches. So it's kind of strange that you have some people that identify as they're in the church. I just hope they leave it eventually, and that's what I see is going to happen.
Wait a minute. So would you consider Eastern Orthodox basically like a prototype of Catholicism?
No, because there was no Catholicism or Eastern Orthodox until the Great Schism, really.
Because apparently Eastern Orthodoxy has been there for thousands of years.
They claim that, and so does the Roman Catholic Church, and so does a bunch of other groups.
Well, I mean, it would make more sense for the Eastern Orthodox claim to be true if you think about the evangelism, especially with Philip and
there is no
the eunuch.
There is no evangelism in the.
Well, the apostles did go in. Some of the apostles did go into Africa.
Yeah, but Eastern Orthodox do not believe in the concept of evangelism.
Well, they might have corrupted it along the way, but I mean, they did receive. I would say they received Christianity much earlier than the other places in the world.
The Ethiopian area just simply were Christians. There was no Ethiopian Orthodox or Eastern Orthodox. They were just called Christians.
Oh, so you're saying the corruption may have come along later on?
Yes, I believe that the corruption comes along later on.
Interesting. Yeah, a lot of people. It's kind of connected to reggae. I think that's what Rasta. I think that's what it's Rastafari.
I don't know. Anyways,
Rastafarianism is something completely different. That is
no, they're not actually
another day.
It's actually
hang on. We're moving on. We're moving on.
We're moving on. Hunter.
All right, so I don't know if wait, did African already ask me a question or trying to remember because I thought I went to her. African,
Jesus over is the next person.
All right, yeah, we'll get to. Okay, I guess African's AFK, so we'll go to Jesus over. You there, man? Oh yeah, I forgot. He put a text saying BRB. Okay.
CA. Did you solve your problems with Marshall regarding Jesus cursing a dog or something like that?
No, because he ain't gonna answer my question. Marshall is very well aware of the that as soon as I asked him where was it declared as a sin, it's just.
Well, as for my question for now, can I ask what would the response be if people refer to Jesus cursing the plum tree or Jesus calling someone a dog, saying that he wasn't sinless because of those two examples? What would you say to that?
Well,
a lot of Muslims I've encountered have used that.
He gives an example, but he adds to it. He adds an assertion that because Jesus called this woman a dog, that means automatically it's a sin because, is it having it is a way of not loving someone or it's not caring for someone. It's kind of a mistreatment. When in the same way, if he's going to say that, I mean, he seems to indicate that he believes the same thing, that as a Muslim, he thinks it's wrong to mistreat people. But yet Surah 98, Ayah 6 says that Christians and polytheists are the worst of all creatures, that we're the worst of any creature that's alive. Is that if you're a Christian or polytheist? Yes, Surah 98, Ayah 6 says Christians and polytheists are the worst.
Doesn't the same surah say that whenever in disbelief, go to the people of the book?
I don't think it's the same surah. It's a different surah, but it's from the same book. Yes.
Yeah, this is so complicated. All these stories and everything. Yeah, because a lot of Muslims try to claim that Jesus wasn't sinless.
Right. So, but here's the point. If it's saying, yet go to the book and such, but yet you have this, then you can make the same argument Marshall is making, saying, oh, there's a contradiction in the Quran. It says go to them, but at the same time, they're the worst of all creatures. Why go to them? In fact, that's actually being derogatory, and wouldn't that then be sinful upon Allah's part? So you have to be consistent, which is what I don't think Marshall does, honestly. He is an inconsistent Muslim, and as a result, he just likes to argue for the sake of arguing without listening to people. Because I had to ask like 35 times, can you show me where it says it's a sin in the Torah to call someone a dog? And he just simply replies with, tell me where it says it is not a sin in the Torah. That's not how you argue. I mean,
where did Jesus say, "I am God, worship me"?
Yeah, you know, specific things.
And no, I don't want anything alluding to that. I want. Sorry.
Yeah, but yeah, like.
What did Jesus say? "I am God, worship me"? No, I don't want anything alluding to that. I want those exact words.
Exactly.
Well, Christian, man, you did have. Sorry, Christian Anarchist, you did have a debate with him, and I don't know what your perception of that debate was, but I think he tried his best. I think he's getting better. He's a newcomer on these hangouts. You got to give him a chance.
Well, hopefully, because the thing I noticed is that he didn't address some of the arguments that I had presented, and did violate some of the rules of debate. And his just behavior after the debate was also interesting, since he accused a bunch of people of being racist just because they were pointing out a error in the Quran, apparently everybody in the room was racist because of that.
Coming from the guy that says black people are donkeys. Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, so we are pushing over our time limit, so we're going to try to get to as much people as we can. Jesus over, are you back?
Hello, yeah, I'm back.
Welcome back. You have any other questions?
Yeah, what Muslim scholars do you like to read when studying the Quran and Hadith?
Okay, the first one is a instant towards Bilal Phillips, because Bilal Phillips has written a good portion of stuff. He's a Sunni Islamic scholar, teacher, especially his works on the fundamentals of Tawheed. Very good guy in terms of the academic world. Another reason why I definitely like him is because he actually, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the number 19 argument, which actually is a liberal Quran onlyist argument. But he actually wrote an article refuting that argument, and says
so he's a scholar.
Huh?
So you would consider him an honest scholar?
Yeah, he's an honest scholar, and I've actually, in reference to a particular, in some of my videos, I actually have quoted Bilal Phillips to justify the claims I make towards Islam, because I don't just simply quote, these particular things just for the sake of it. Then, if you want, what's his name? You've heard of him, Yasser Qadi.
Yeah.
He has his book out on the sciences, or Introduction to Sciences of the Quran. Very good book. And then, of course, you have, if you want tafsir to examine what Muslims would consider to be the best tafsir, would be Ibn Kathir. Then you have Al-Jalalain, because Al-Jalalain is basically like trying to do an extended paraphrase of the entire passage, sometimes like a short 3-sentence Quranic verse can be like an entire 2 paragraphs, if need be, by Jalalain. So he gives you a lot of details to expound upon.
All right, appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, man. So thank you for that. So a couple of people left. I was going to get to Hunter in a few. So let's go back to stomach ache for our last question. You there, man?
I'm still
Dramatic.
I'm just listening.
Oh my goodness. All right, then. Let's go to, okay. All right, sister, you'll be the, or not.
Sister's gone.
Yeah. Dang it. All right, go to African. She'll be the person to end us off.
I don't think he's talking at the moment, but we'll wait.
All right, then. All right. Then I guess
Well,
no.
well, shalom Shabbat, brother.
Okay, so something's wrong with the laptop. Okay.
Well, shalom Shabbat, brother.
Shalom Shabbat. Do you want to leave us off with the last question, Zulu?
I want to ask you this in private.
Why do you want to do this in private, man?
Because I need your help.
Okay. All right, then. I guess the only other person then would be Christian Man.
Ayo. Okay, let me think of something. What would be the best response to those who say never existed?
They say what?
What would be the best way to show that Jesus actually existed?
Oh, that's a good one. Thank you. Actually, I wanted to
Jos-
ask you some of them. But yeah.
Josephus. If you want a non-Christian source.
Well, someone like Lo will tell you that he's not a good source for various reasons.
Why is that?
Lo relies on his own dumb scholarship.
Okay, well, tell me why this would be bad.
Well, he said he made some bogus claims that Josephus was used as an agent to control the Jews by helping make Christianity.
That is the dumbest conspiracy theory I think I've ever heard in my life.
Not to mention, would not even make a lick of sense because, I mean, if you think about it, actually, the one reason why some people weren't trusting of Josephus was not because, oh, he's a Christian, he was helping out Christians and such. It was because he was considered a turncoat. That he basically, Jews thought of him as a traitor because he went and aided Romans or something like that, the Roman soldiers. So like he was a historian and assistant for them. He was a Hellenized Jew, basically, was the whole thing, and not a rabbinical Jew. So that's where a lot of the problems is and why the transmission and the resurrection of his texts sort of get back from Christians and such. But I mean, we still have manuscripts as well to get of his original content. So,
yeah, and also he plays a lot of semantics, especially with Tacitus as well. Because I had a mini debate with him, and I even brought up Tacitus's remark on actually talks about the founder of Christianity, which is Christ, the origin, which is Judea, and he also talks about the problem they had with Emperor Nero. But he would say it says Christians, so therefore it can mean anything. So what would your response?
No,
what would your response be?
Well, here's the thing: the Josephus quote that is used, as far as any scholar goes, is considered, at least for the most part, is considered
authentic.
A majority of it is authentic. Portions.
The only part they ever questioned was the part where it seems as though Josephus is glad about Christ or something like that.
It says talking about he was the Christ. Yes.
That's the one. That's the one.
Right. But there is an Arabic manuscript that exists early, and it does not contain that. So it shows that it's not just simply that, but it seems to indicate that, we have, and that's the other thing about textual criticism. Whatever's the shortest in textual criticism of you find it in a manuscript, that is most likely the original, especially in regards to dating. So the fact this early, shorter version shows that this version is the more original compared to the interpolations, which would be something of he was the Christ. That's interpolation. If indeed one ought to call him a man, which is interpolated, though that there's debate on that by what exactly he could mean, which that could stay in, because some could say this is probably Josephus's nasty view of Jesus or something like that. And then the whole part about on the third day he appeared to them, restored to life, and yada 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 yada. So all these things. So if you take out the Christ resurrection story and indeed ought to call him a man, you really just have a secular understanding of him, especially some stuff would actually not much agree with the testimony of Jesus, since it says he won over many Jews and many of the Greeks. Well, if you were familiar with the context, he didn't really win over a ton of Jews and a ton of Greeks. He that's just not accurate within the biblical text.
Bro, and so what's your opinion on the Book of James? Because you also say that Josephus references the Book of James, and is the Book of James even a viable source?
No,
the brother of
James. He references
no, the brother of
James.
Jesus. Yeah, apparently there's a book of James, the brother of Jesus. Is that and is that actually reliable?
You're talking about the Book of James we find in the Bible.
No, he's talking about the something that Josephus said about James, and that who's
the brother of Jesus. And he actually has a book.
There's debate about who that's referring to, because it says then later this Jesus is appointed to be a high priest in a certain region. So there's a specific group of people that are named likewise James and Jesus, and they just have a different account.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
no,
I got another question.
But the Josephus thing is authentic. With at least a good majority of it is, if you discount the interpolations such as he was the Christ and some of these others. So there are Greek manuscripts even themselves that have a differentiation with what is found in the modern sort of text, and the Arabic version is one that sort of predates some of the manuscript copies that we have. But the other argument that some people will point out is, okay, even if you have a consensus of Josephus scholars agreeing that just the majority is authentic, but not all of it's authentic, it still is out of place compared to the rest of the story. Why is such a paragraph like this put in there? It just makes no sense with the flow of the argument, and that is because this was a common practice. Actually, Bart Ehrman and a few other scholars note that back then there were no such thing as appendixes. There were no such thing as footnotes. So what was a historian or a scholar supposed to do back then? They weren't aware of these things, and none of those things existed. So they basically just wrote it as a paragraph. They did this all the time, and in fact, in Josephus's book, that's not the first time he does that. So even agnostic, atheistic scholars and non-Christian scholars that are studying up on Josephus, they're able to make the note about this from a historical understanding, that what Josephus was doing was no different than what any other ancient historian was doing at that time.
That's a good point, because when I argue with atheists, I also ask them, well, show me your evidence that Alexander the Great or Julius Caesar existed. And they'll tell me we have, writings of him from the palace, from his enemies, from his oppressors, and so on and so on. We have writings and artifacts, right? But if you look at the claims of anybody in the Bible, we have writings, we have more manuscripts than Julius Caesar and Alexander the Great. We also have people talking about it from this current day. We've got its effects all over the world. So technically, wouldn't it be idiotic from a historical standpoint to say that these people never existed? In the sense that it's the same methodology when they're digging or they're finding manuscripts.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It would be very foolhardy.
So I mean, besides the minimal manuscripts they have on Julius Caesar compared to the New Testament, how else can you say that this guy existed?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's all the time we're going to be able to have for that. Thank you for the question there, Christian man. Definitely leads us off on a good one. So yeah, thank y'all for the deal there. need to figure out how the heck to. Oh yeah, I'm gonna add Master Zemnis on Google via Google Plus because I remember that's what I did last time. But yeah, so thank you all for tuning in. 13 people have joined since then. So this is turning out the whole thing is getting more and more bigger with our show here. So thank you all for tuning in. You guys are wonderful, magnificent. I thank every one of y'all for.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, indeed. And I mean, it's just great. It's a great thing to have y'all. So we'll try to tune in for next Friday for Ask Christian Anarchist number 42, which then would leave us only 8 more to go until we get to number 50. Then we see how that turns out. All right, but until then, yes, this has been the Christian Anarchist. Shalom Aleichem. Peace be upon you, because I wish that upon you. Have a good day.